So welcome back to the channel. So this is Jonas and I'm into bikes, cars, bikes, that kind of bikes, trucks, anything with wheels, DIYs and outdoors. And if you are into those things, don't forget to like and subscribe. So today we're going to be working on the bike, and this is quite a topic because we are going to be working on the front brakes of the bike, because right now it's a little bit spongy and there's a bite on the lever. I believe that you shouldn't be waiting for this to happen before you change your brakes. It should be on intervals. I'll go check the manual on what the interval is, but I don't know, I just don't have the time to fix it, so I had to wait for this to happen. So don't wait for it to be brown. Just follow the intervals and do it as the manual states. So now that I have time to replace the fluids, it's quite a topic because the brakes of the VFR is what they call dual combination brake system. So what is a dual combination brake system? Whenever you brake the front, there's going to be a slight brake on the rear, and whenever you brake the rear, there's going to be a slight brake on the front. Now, can I bleed this normally? Some say that it's going to be hard because it's a combination brake, but theoretically, if I look at the manual, if I look at the diagram, it's the same as the normal bike. So because it's a combination, they think that it's hydraulically connected with everyone. So they are implying that you need a suction to do this, but theoretically it's not hydraulically connected. So we can do procedure that we're doing on a regular brakes. To prove it, let's dismantle the left, because that's the one that is connected with the rear brakes. So just to explain more about the dual combination brake system, whenever you hit the brakes on the front, so you are forcing this to go towards the front. So this now, there's a piston here which is pushed by a plunger here, like so, and then this pushes a piston, so meaning one of the pistons in the rear will be pushed, not all three, because there's three pistons in the rear, only one, if my theory and my understanding is right. So now if you press the rear brake, there's a separate hydraulic system that goes towards the front, which is this one, which actually actuates, again, one piston. So to prove it right, let's just remove this from the disc, and we will press on the brakes, and you will see that if my theory is correct, there is going to be one piston that is going to move. If that happens, we can now say that the front is not hydraulically connected to the rear, which now I can say that you can bleed this or change the fluid as a normal bike. So before we start on this, or before you start on bleeding or replacing your brake fluid, make sure that you can untighten this. This is an 8. Instead of using a box wrench, use a 6-point socket first, so that you will not damage the head. So just untighten it and then close it back. So this is just to make sure that you can open it later. So same as the other side. So you don't have to remove this when you're replacing or bleeding your brakes, so I won't be discussing this anymore. But we just need to find out if my theory is correct. Now, if the theory is correct, then you can bleed this the way you bleed your ordinary bike. Now, ABS is a different story because this is not ABS. ABS, as long as you don't get air in the ABS system, then you can still do your usual bleeding procedure. Because if air goes in, then you need to activate the ABS for the air to release. So I still have enough pads. It's not that dirty. So one of these days we need to rebuild this. For now, not yet, because we need funds to rebuild this. So let's push this in first, and then we will slide this out so we can see the pistons. So if we are not going to use the brake pads again, I'm just gonna pry it with a screwdriver. But because we are going to be using this again, I don't want to mar the pads. So let's hit the rear brake and see what moves. So pressing on the rear brakes now. See? Only one piston is moving. So if they are hydraulically connected, if I press on this piston, then one of the piston should come out. Nothing. So that confirms that the front is not hydraulically connected with the rear. So you can do whatever procedure you're doing on an ordinary bike. So let's do the fluid replacement, and it's just gonna be a breeze. So we're just gonna be doing the front because I've got limited time, and I just actually use the front. I was taught and I have learned since I was a kid, and even in my training here with my work now, that we only use the front. It's not only us, it's not only me, but even if you talk about Gymkhana, they're just using the front. So it's not correct for everyone, but that's how we use our brakes, just the front. So let's go. I'll just put this back. Might as well clean it, and then let's do the fluid replacement procedure. Soapy water, then mineral spirit. If you have the funds, or of course brake cleaner. If you're in a budget, this will do. Now I like to push out the pistons whenever I'm cleaning brake. So if you are going to do this, don't be like me where the pads is here. Because it's gonna get your pads squeaky, noisy. So now I have to clean it. I forgot to remove it. You should remove it. It's already soaked, so no use of crying over spilled milk. So we are not flattening it, because if we are, then we need to sand it on a flat surface. We are just cleaning it. So I'm not worried about it not being flat. This piston and this piston is hydraulically connected. So if you push this, you will see it will slightly come out. Let's put it back. Oh, I might as well spray with this. And then torque this to factory specs. Oh, I'll put the value below the screen. let's now start the fluid replacement. So before start this, make sure that you can open the reservoir. The reservoir, give it a little bit of tap. There. Just loosen it. Do not open it when it's not turned to the left, because you will spill fluid in your fairings. So let's turn it to the left. Then we can open this. We might as well put some rag just to make sure. Here, before you put it back, make sure that these ports are clean. And get your syringe or your bulb suction, anything to get most of the fluids. Now when the fluid is low, now you can turn it. The fluids will all go to one side because of gravity. Just don't discard this anywhere. Just keep it. Maybe if you have a recycle area, you can accept it. Let's clean this with chop towel. I like to use kitchen towel instead of a rag, because I am sure that it is lint free. So we have cleaned this. Now just don't forget to put this back. So this is a splash something thingy. Then fill this up with new fluid. And then that 4, turn it to the left. It will be level. Always make sure that your can or your bottle is clean, so no contaminant will go in. Now cover this temporarily, so we clean this off camera. You can screw it if you want to, but not necessary. And then let's start the draining process. Put your hose. And then your drain bottle so we will not make a mess. So it's almost like a bleeding procedure. So press the brakes, then release, close, and then release the brakes. So press the brake, release, close, release the brakes. Press the brakes, release, close, release the brakes. Press the brakes, release, close, release the brakes. Press the brakes, release, close, release the brakes, and so on and so forth. So every now and then check your reservoir if you still have fluid, because if you run out of fluid, that will introduce air in the system. Actually, a few months ago, someone was asking, can you bleed your brakes alone? Well, here's the answer. Now, if the line is clear, then you're done. I think we're clear. One more. And the left side is done. Now off to the right side, and we are almost done. So same story on the right side. Press on the brakes, release, close, press on the brakes, release, close, release the brakes, and so on and so forth. You get the point, right? Oh. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm making a mess. I just made a lot of mess. Brake. Make sure your reservoir again is full. That's good. Let me just pack this up, and I want to flush the brake fluid from my tires. So that's it. That's your fluid replacement procedure. Now, do you need to bleed the brakes? Because you just replaced it. Not necessarily. As long as you did not introduce air in the system, then you don't have to bleed it. Now, to some, a bleeding procedure is pumping the brakes and then releasing the bleeder. There is actually, in some manuals, they are refraining you to do that because that actually introduces more bubbles, more air. I have done it. I don't think it introduced, but to avoid it, just pump it once, bleed it once, release it. I think that's a safer procedure. Now, again, if you're anal, you can do it. I don't think it will do any harm. Now, we're done, but I still have to do something. So stay tuned. Let me just close the reservoir, close this up, and then I'll soak down the brake fluid, just in case. Just a tip, if you are going to tighten this in increments, left, right, left, right. And then just tighten it snug. Done. So let's do the other task. So our other task is this, because there's quite a bite in some point. So what we're gonna do is remove this, and if there's space, we're gonna put some Teflon washers. If not, then we're just gonna lube it with lithium grease. It's quite dirty, so we'll just clean this. I don't think we have enough space for Teflon, so we'll just lube this up. As generous as you can, and then we will just clean up the area. I think that's better. Then at the bottom, make sure to put a dab of Loctite so it will not fall off. So there you go. Fluid flush is done. So we have replaced the brake fluid on the front, and of course, because as I've said, I'm anal, I did the pumpy procedure. So pump the brakes fast, brake it hard, and then release. And then, release the bleeder, close the bleeder, and then release the lever. Nothing came out. So if you introduce the fluid well, then there's no need for you to worry about air inside the system. I just have to, whenever I am pressing the brakes, I'm just pressing hard, and then after I release the bleeder, I kept the lever engaged and then close the bleeder. So anyways, hope you got something from this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.